Ready. Play.
The first result that came in today, which was Lehecka versus Korda. Did either of you
Wait, Fergus, how do you know which result was first today?
It's just I have a really good memory for these sorts of things, Damien. I have a really
Is
good
this
sort of
because I think I saw a thread on Twitter which was actually just noting which winner came first and which came second, which came 11th. That was so informative. I wish I remembered who wrote it.
I know. I was actually thinking I definitely saw a thread today, but I don't remember who did it. So, we'll have to stop right there. But anyway, okay, right. Well, that's unnecessary. But did either of you catch any of this Lehecka Korda match?
I saw some of the tail end of it. Obviously, a good serving performance, I think, in terms of moving on to the clay. Lehecka, obviously, we know how good of a ball striker he is. He hits it very flat, and it's obviously our first clay event of the year, so it always looks a little bit different. But 88% behind his first serve. Obviously that kept him kind of out ahead, and then played a good breaker. But in terms of a 50-50 match, I think this is as close to one as we could have saw.
Yeah, I mean, Lehecka was one of the few seeds who lost both Indian Wells and Miami first round. So, well, second round, but first match. So that's kind of vital for him to survive something like this. Korda, anytime I see him in Monte Carlo, I just think of that Alcaraz match from 3 years ago. But yeah, I guess it's fair for Jiri to win this one, and I did not see any of it.
I only caught little bits and pieces because I was swapping between Wawrinka, Tabilo, and this match, but it looked as though Lehecka had it pretty much on his racket the entire match until kind of got a bit hairy towards the breaker, but then he played a very solid breaker. Korda did have a set point, but didn't take it. First serve from Lehecka, and then did well in the breaker to close it out. So yeah, a strong start for Lehecka in the clay season. Obviously, the first clay event of the year. Big clay event of the year. So Lehecka will go to face Musetti in round 2. Musetti also played today against Boo. So did either of you catch any of that match? I'm gonna guess Damien's answer is no.
Why?
I'm just guessing that your answer is no.
I saw a bit because it got interesting.
Okay.
I kind of think what we saw today from Musetti against Boo on clay, like it's kind of the worst case scenario for Lorenzo. Like I was so sure he was gonna win, but obviously it got very dicey. He was 2-4 down in the 2-4 down in the second set, 30-all as well. Boo, his skill set, I mean, he's not known for clay results, but his skill set was very good for the qualifying matches he had, especially against Ramos Vignolas, where that physical domination he had over the veteran was just insane. And against Musetti, you just think that maybe he kind of has no real options because, Lorenzo is so good on clay and everything. But I mean, it's not that easy for the Italian, I guess, to just, win points. It's not very obvious for him how he has to proceed every single match, right? So there's a lot to figure out often about his game. Good for him that he did, though, because obviously Monte Carlo is always a very strong event for him. Speaking of big wins, as I mentioned, that Korda Alcaraz one, this is where he beat Djokovic for the only time so far. So yeah, I'm always looking at him as a potential contender here, but most certainly after this performance, there's a little bit more doubt as to his ability to get through even Lehecka.
Brenna?
Yeah, I mean, I did catch the Musetti match pretty much right after he got broken to start the second set. But yeah, I mean, as Damien said, Boo is just such a tough opponent. I feel like for anyone, just because he can hang from the baseline so well. And as you said, he is such a physical player and he shrinks the court well. And, when he got times to play offense. He was looking to be aggressive, but you could tell kind of as the match was progressing that Musetti felt like he was getting more rhythm, a little bit just more comfortable, and Boo was maybe looking to use more variety than he's used to, especially like the drop shot. It wasn't very clean. It wasn't really timely, and Musetti was continuing to get to them. But he did pull it off. He actually went for 3 straight drop shots from, I think, 30-15 up, and Musetti ended up getting a break point. But then he clutched a beautiful drop shot and then was able to hold. But yeah, I just felt like as the match progressed, and Boo was, had his nose out in front, you could feel him getting a little bit tighter.
Yeah, that's just funny to what we have on the screen.
But yeah, I mean, go ahead, give your thoughts, Fergus, and then maybe we can preview.
Yeah, I kind of thought this one was wrapped up from Boo, to be honest. Obviously Musetti plays well here in Monte Carlo, and he's obviously a great clay court player. But from the first hour of watching Musetti, I really thought that Boo would have this done and dusted, and I kind of switched it off, and then I saw the highlight of that Musetti backhand winner on set point, and it kind of re-grabbed my attention. But yeah, so Musetti will play Lehecka, which is actually a really nice sort of round of 32 matchups. So how do you two see that going? We'll go Damien first.
I mean, I already said that, Musetti, to me, he was in that big cluster with Zverev, Rune, Tsitsipas is like one of the favorites to make the. Actually, I think that was one of my big calls yesterday. That one of these 4 players will beat Djokovic in the semis and then make the final. But I don't know which of these 4 it will be. And yeah, Lehecka in the second round, it's not that easy. I do trust that Musetti will have a pretty good chance to beat Zverev potentially in the third round if that much happens, because that's also not a certainty. But yeah, Lehecka, it's going to be pretty rough. Of course, the matches that we see right now on the screen, these were just hard courts. 2022 Rotterdam, that was the breakthrough run of Lehecka, and of course, Miami, I wouldn't really expect Lorenzo to be beating him. But here, I guess it's pretty open. Monte Carlo conditions, they tend to be very slow, very windy. That's way better for Lorenzo if that happens. Maybe it's actually going to be a bit better.
I agree with Damien. I just think, Musetti is such a tough guy to beat here. And as I said, I just felt like he got into more of a rhythm as the match went on. And I think he'll be able to, settle in a little bit more. But Lehecka, obviously, if you can serve like he did today, that's going to give him, more of an opportunity. But I just think Musetti's variety, comfort from the baseline, and just I think the clay overall, that's where you just, continue to give the edge to Musetti.
Yeah, I think it's tough to pick against Musetti with more sort of not experience, but I think more pedigree on the clay. Lehecka can often blow hot and cold, and can sometimes see a big dip in performance during matches. But I think this one definitely goes 3. But I'm going to give the edge to Musetti. But yeah, it could be a bit of a chaotic 3-setter, but I think Musetti will come through a bit like he did today against Boo.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.